everybody. So I'm Dara Thomason, and I'm really, really happy to have Lisa here to talk to us about Quilt Market, because as we know, we got to like change with the times as we've got quarantine. So I have 3 questions for Lisa. I'm so glad you could come. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good times. Okay, so this would have been your 20th?
This would have been my 20th spring market, yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time goes fast.
Yeah,
Very
it
fast.
really does.
Yep.
So what has been your experience? I mean, over 20 quilt markets, but like, what would you say is kind of like some of the highlights of it all?
Well, I will admit it has changed tremendously. Like
Oh.
in the beginning, we would bring lots of product and we would sell like oodles and oodles and oodles of stuff right there at market, and the shop owners would take it home with them. So, and it's really not like that anymore. So it's kind of changed a lot in those 20 years. But you know, it's just, I think it's evolving. It's ever evolving, and it will continue to evolve. So, but that's the main thing that I see different. And there's just so much. It has grown huge.
Okay.
And over those 20 years, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what were the benefits of Quilt Market?
Well, I think there was 2 main benefits of Quilt Market. And I think the first one is that when you go to Quilt Market and you attend and you show up, I believe that is like showing a commitment to the industry, that you are here, you're spending your money to be there, to be accessible to the shop owners. And it's like a proof that you're a validation. Like, okay, I'm going to spend this much money. I'm going to go to Quilt Market. Yeah. I am a business. I am going, you know, so I think it shows a very deep commitment to the quilt industry. And with that, I think you get taken more seriously, that you're not just like a cottage industry. And I really think that's a big deal. And then like currently, like as it evolves, I think you need to go because of you just learn so much that you don't want to be out of the loop. You want to be in the know. You want to see what's new, and not just only in quilts, like everything. Like the you know, because there's been a lot of clothing introduced lately and bags and all that kind of stuff. So you just want to know what Quilt Market all encompasses.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing right there, just to be, you know, to show that you're a very serious contender. And then I think the second biggest thing would be connections. I think Quilt Market is all about connections with your shop owners, with your suppliers and your manufacturers, and other designers for collaborations. All those things are very important in this business. And I purposely would, like, every time I went to market, I purposely would try to make connections with, you know, 3 to 5 other people that I didn't before, because I believe that I can help them and they can help me, and you totally can do some collaborations. And there's just so much to learn. Like even at lunchtime, like when you're sitting in the lunch and you don't know who's sitting next to you.
No.
Right? And if you start talking to them, who knows, maybe they're a book publisher and maybe you want to get a book published. And just having a little conversation with them gives you maybe a connection that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
So those 2 things I think are the main reason why you want to go to Quilt Market.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, like, I've been twice, and both times have been like, no, 3 times. I've been 3 times, and all 3 times it's just like, oh man, the doors are just opening like crazy.
Yes,
yeah.
And you got to be assertive. You really have to be assertive, or you'll just get kind of passed by. So you just got to kind of reach out, touch people, talk to people, introduce yourself to people, and I think it'll serve you to be a little bit, even if it's not in your comfort zone. Like, I'm not a talker, but when you ask me to do this, you can talk about things you know. So then you're not afraid. But I mean, I other than that, I'm not a talker. So when you said, "Oh, you want to come and do this?" I'm like, Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, awesome. Well, I think that's really, really helpful because I think we all have kind of a perception of like who you're supposed to be, and you have to, in order to be successful, you have to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, no. And one of the things too, I think, I got to turn you up a little bit. One of the things I think is that we all don't fit the same mold. And that's a good thing because, you know, when fabric companies are looking for designers or when book people are looking for people, we don't always all check off all the boxes.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So if if you're a very go-getter, there's some things that you don't know about a person unless you connect with them and unless you engage, and then they get a better idea of who you are and what you can do. But, and don't think that you have to check every box that, you think is possible to be a designer or a book, I don't think you need to do that. I think that, we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be all that. We can be just who we are.
Well, and the funny thing is, what we think is perfect is not what other people think are perfect. So it's like,
right, yeah.
How does that even work, right?
Right, yeah, totally.
So we have to kind of think about that. So when you said to just be like gutsy, can you give me like one or two examples of ways that you like did that, or like when you were like super uncomfortable?
Well, just like if you're in a group of people, like sometimes I'm in a group of people and I'll know the one person that I was maybe walking down the aisle with, and then we'll meet up with a couple people that she knows, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is Lisa, and this is so and so and so and so, and then how that kind of goes by, but yeah. I will be like, okay, wait, now what was your name again? Okay, and then what do you do? And I'll be like, okay, and then who are you? And okay, what do you specialize in? Do you have a booth here? So you really have to be assertive like that, and just so it sinks in, so you'll remember, because if you just get their name or whatever, then but like, say, like one time I think I met like Amy Smart, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I know you. Okay, I don't know her, but I know that that she's out there, she's always promoting, she's very technical, she's very, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, this is really cool, so just things like that.
Well, I love that you can just be like, when you're engaging in people, like your mind also, like when you're curious and you're asking questions, your mind is like working for you too, right? Like,
yes,
and then it's like putting it all together, and because your intention is to meet people,
right,
it's going to start working. So that's really good advice. I love that. And then the third question is, of course, Quilt Market is going to be virtual. Yes. And we don't really know what it's going to look like. So moving forward, like, I know are some of the benefits that could happen, or some suggestions, or something that we could do.
Okay. Like I said, I think that with the virtual market, I think I think we're kind of do that already. I don't know if this makes sense, but back in the years past, you would go to Quilt Market and it'd be the first time anybody would see any of your stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But now we do a lot of pre-market marketing of our stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think we're kind of almost there already. And I think there's some really good things about that. One, we don't have the expense.
Yeah.
Of what it takes to go to market, because we all know that those hotels are expensive, the booths are expensive, all that kind of stuff. So I really think that the expense is a big thing. But I also think that a virtual quilt show will reach way more people, way more shops, because a lot of shops don't have that money. Because why would you, if you're a smaller shop, why would you go to Quilt Market and spend $5,000 when you could stay home and buy 3 fabric lines for that $5,000?
I know, right?
Right? So you got to kind of look at it that way. And I'm a shop owner too, so I kind of get that. So I think a virtual show will reach more people, because every shop owner should somehow get sent a link from the suppliers and the manufacturers who are all in it, and they would go on there and they would probably spend more time, and they would get to meet everybody instead of just the the people that were on their list to see, and they might discover some new people. So there might be some great benefits to a virtual show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was brainstorming by myself, and I was thinking speed dating. How would we do that? Wouldn't that be so fun?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
So fun. Like, so anyways, I love the possibility. I think some pretty cool things during this virtual, not virtual, so during COVID. Do you want to just share with some of the other people on our Facebook group of some cool things you've been doing that you didn't do before and it's been really beneficial for your business?
Okay, so I guess I should start off with the first one, right? I decided to invest in myself and say, okay, what makes me tick? Why do I feel this way? Why? And that was to hire a life coach. And
that's not what I was asking.
Yeah,
but
that's what it is, right? Because I feel once you know a little bit more about you can tackle some of those other things. And I know that was very unsolicited.
Oh, thank you.
But
I did not. Yeah,
because you asked me what I was doing, and that was one of the first things I did. Okay.
And it has been awesome, hasn't it? And people can notice she weighs a little less.
Yeah.
Her mind is weighing less mentally.
Oh, and I'm getting so much more done. Like, I'm actually like proud of myself of what I'm actually getting done.
I love working with you, Lisa. Thank you.
Yes. So that was one of the things. So I'm investing in myself as a person, and I think it's totally worth it. And then another thing is just some technical things, because, after you've been in the business for 20 years, those aren't my strong things. Like, technology is not my strong thing.
Yeah.
So reaching out and finding someone to help with some of the things. So I hired a search engine optimization person.
Oh, okay.
I hired, like, Shannon was offering to do some little graphic things, and I'm like, okay, yes, my Instagram, I need to know how to do a story. I have no clue. I'm still kind of working my through it, but I force myself to do it because I think it's very important.
Yeah.
And then I learned some photo editing, and I just learned the other day. So, and before I didn't have the time to do that.
Yeah, so you're taking
because I'm so pulled in so many different ways, but so there are some benefits to some of this. And I think when something like this happens, I think the people who are really committed to their businesses really figure out a way to make it work for them and their advantage. And then another thing that I have done is gone on Facebook Live.
Yes.
I actually did a group. I started a group, and it's called Stitch with Lisa Bonjean. And I just go on once a week right now and just talk about all the things that I'm doing, all the things I'm coming out with. I share with them, and I don't try to make such a big deal about it. I'm in my quilting t-shirt. I let my husband join this last time, and
oh my God.
I love that he's there because, like I said, it's kind of distracts from me. So I'm not like, there's something else going on besides me talking for 25 minutes. So, yeah. So those are, that's like 4 huge things that I've done in this time. So.
And you're making money.
I am. I'm not, the bills are getting paid. It was a little nerve wracking those first couple weeks because you don't know.
Yeah.
But so I'm doing okay. I'm going to survive this. And I think all things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some good things come out of this. And I have to have that positive outlook, because if you're all like, oh, woe is me, then you have to relook and rethink. And another thing I want to you probably didn't really ask me this, but I think it was in one of my comments, but I don't think we kind of got to that. But one of the things that I really want to talk about is, as if you're a designer, if you're a fabric designer, if you're a book pattern person or whatever, I really think that you need to not worry about selling your own stuff. Like, I get that, there's quilt shops out there who are going to sell lots of your stuff, but I think sometimes people think, oh, well, if I sell my book, well, then I'm going to interfere with, step on the toes of all the shop owners. Those things, like your fabric lines and your books, those are yours. You did all that work. So you should be able to promote your books, sell your books, create stitch along groups. And I don't think that you should be like sorry that you like have a subscription box, or you know, this is your product. Don't think it's not.
Yeah, I
So
love
I
it.
really wanted to tell people to promote your own self, be your own best advocate.
Yeah. Yeah. I just bought 3 boxes of my book, and I'm like figuring out, I have all the envelopes to mail them. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to do that? Virtual
Right?
quilt show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is such good advice. I really am inspired by the things that you're doing in your business. I love how you've just taken like the current circumstances, because I always say in our coaching, right, Lisa? We have our circumstances, those are always neutral. So COVID is neutral, and it's never gives us our feeling. It's always the thought in between. So you've had so many good thoughts that have, and then produced, like, and then your emotion then is responsible for all your actions. It's giving you result, and you're obviously doing that. And for you to be able to share that with all of us, and you're going to help so many people with this. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I'm not afraid to talk about anything. So, you know.
Yeah. Well,
People
and you
can
have
ask me, you can message me if you need, you know, to know anything or whatever. I've done a few things in the quilting world, so
just a few.
Just a few.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.